Hello, everyone. We are live at 5. It's Thursday, April 9th, and I'm Paul Wintour.
I'm Beth Stevens.
And we're joined, as always, by producer Kayla.
Hello.
So, happy Thursday, everybody.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Week is just crawling for me. It's crawling.
Happy second day of Passover, Beth.
Thank you.
Happy Passover. Who's our guest today? I forgot to introduce the guest early at the top of the show yesterday. Who's our guest today, Beth?
Oh, this is one of our favorite people. Elizabeth Stanley from Jagged Little Pill is with us today.
Yes, she's fantastic. Can't wait to catch up with her. But first, let's talk about today's news.
Broadway may be dark, but tonight theaters are turning blue.
That is right. Now, if you're not in New York City, you do not hear perhaps every day at 7 o'clock we applaud our essential workers. At least in my neighborhood, that's a big deal. And now Broadway's getting in the act at 8 o'clock, from 8 to 8:15. They are going to light up the marquees that they can do from remote access for the digital marquees, say the Jacob, certain ones that are digital. And this is for an initiative called Light It Blue. And this is all over the place, just to tell our healthcare workers, first responders, all essential workers, thank you. You know, we have to keep on encouraging them and thanking them because they're really on the front lines.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of big stars getting together virtually for a good cause.
Yes, so I see a big picture of Lin-Manuel Miranda, so I guess he's one of them. So this is New York One, and our friend Frank DeLella, who's the host of Onstage. Frank's going to do an Onstage at Home Lollapalooza this weekend. It's a 2-night event, and it's all raising money for the Actors Fund. He will welcome a lot of stars from their homes, including Lin-Manuel Miranda, Lea Salonga, Marissa Tomei, Annalie Ashford, Sierra Vargas, Titus Burgess, Kristen Chenoweth, Gavin Creel, Ariana DeBose, Judith Light, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Brian Stokes Mitchell. The list just keeps going. You can find it all on our site, but it's a lot of people. So part 1 will air on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. And then part 2 is on Sunday. And they're being broadcast on New York One's Facebook and Twitter pages. This is the thing. Everyone's doing stuff from home.
Yeah. And Playwright Horizons is doing a really awesome new project.
This is really cool. So Playwright Horizons is launching a podcast series called Soundstage. That's what that photo is all about. And it sounds like this was in the works before, but they're releasing it now because we're all home and we need stories, don't we? So the first one is today, I think, and it's called Prime. It's a 10-song cycle by Heather Christian, but listen to who else is involved. Jeremy O'Harris, Lucas Nath, Jordan Harrison, Gwen, Kirsten Childs, Milo Kramer, just so many important and wonderful writers, and they're bringing that together with performers, and it's scripted audio
Content.
And I love that because you can, use your nervous energy to wash the dishes or something and still listen.
Is that what you do? Just gotta
Totally, that is exactly what I did.
into your life.
Yes.
Yes, and we're giving you guys an exclusive first look to this Tony winner's new album.
Yes, Caitlin is talking about Lena Hall, who of course won a Tony Award. How many years ago was that for Hedwig and the Angry Inch?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Together.
About 1 year to me.
Anyway, Lena is always making music. That's her thing, and she made a new solo album, and it's called The Villa Story, which is the name of her parents' hippie house in Haight-Ashbury, where she spent her childhood. And so it's inspired by that, and it comes out tomorrow. And it is, you can get a peek of it right now. You can listen, more audio content. It's all about audio content.
Audio content today.
You can hear her sing the Pearl Jam song Release, which is not a show tune. But if you're a fan of Lena Hall, then you know about more than show tunes. But maybe someday it'll be in a musical, right, Beth? You never know.
Sure, the Pearl Jam musical, I'm sure.
Did we ever think that the Jagged Little Pill album would be in a musical? Now that's
excellent point.
Excellent point. And it's not only a good point, it's also a segue into today's guest. You're welcome. Caitlin, Beth, I'm going to slide you out. Caitlin, tell everyone about today's guest.
Gladly, you guys. As you guys know, we have Miss Elizabeth Stanley here with us today for Live at 5 Home Edition, live on both Facebook and YouTube. Before all of this, she was playing Mary Jane Healy in Jagged Little Pill on the Broadway, which she also is a part of for its world premiere production up at ART. Her previous Broadway credits include Company, On the Town, $1 Million Quartet, Crybaby. She's been on the road. She does it all. You guys can follow her on social at el.stans, S-T-A-N-S. Leave all of your questions down in the comments below for us to ask her later. And please welcome Elizabeth and Paul.
Hello, Elizabeth Stanley.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. I really liked that smooth segue.
You're welcome. I like I'm liking the green behind you. It's a good shade.
Oh, is it okay? I mean, this is not my home, so I was like, green, we're gonna go with it.
Are you just squatting at a random home you found? Or?
It's just like a random. I just started opening doors and no one was here, so this is good. No, my fiance's family has a house in Maryland, and that's where we are.
Fantastic. So life's weird. Everything's different. Do you still feel like Mary Jane Healy, or do you feel removed from her now? You've been away from her for a bit.
I know. No, I feel kind of removed. I think especially with the official announcement yesterday that things are going to be postponed, at least until June. I kind of was like, I think it just feels good to just like put her away for a little bit, like officially. And, then I'll get to bring her back out. But that's a long ways away to kind of be keeping a grip on something, and I think it's better to let it go and then come back fresh for me.
Yeah, having seen the show, I think you could use some time apart from her.
Yeah.
She's going through a lot. I mean, a break is nice. The weather's starting to get nice out. You can sort of like just give yourself a break.
It's kind of a little gift. Yeah, it's not so bad.
So, what is your what did you do today? I don't know about your schedule. What are you doing?
Oh man. Today I actually was sort of productive. I did like a nice long yoga practice and a little meditation. I did the laundry. I mean, I was very domestic.
I have to do that. I'm doing laundry tonight. Yeah.
Feels good. I had phone therapy with my therapist, which was super helpful.
Sure.
And I have some other social Zooms tonight.
The Zoom schedule can be daunting. I found myself busy with social last night for hours, and I thought, God, I wasn't this social before. I'm actually talking to people more sometimes now, some nights.
I agree. And like the amount of text threads and things like that, sometimes I'm like, guys, calm down. No, but the big event today is that I started working on making some very, I don't know what the right word is. They're not going to be glamorous. They're going to be humorous Easter bonnets. We have like a family Zoom scheduled for Sunday, and the deal is that everyone has to have something on their head.
Wow.
Interpret that how you will.
You have a project.
Yes.
Awesome. Will we see the final result on social media? I hope.
I think it will be a must post. Yes.
Yeah, I think you need to now. Now that we know, I think you need to.
Yeah.
Love that video that the cast, the Jagged Little Pill family, released. Thank you, along with that song. Thank you. And it was for the frontline workers, right?
Yeah.
Well, the video, and it sounded beautiful. What'd you guys do? You all like have music and you're all singing too? What's like the process of putting those kind of videos together?
Yeah, so they emailed us, I don't know, I guess a couple weeks ago, and with like a deadline that I don't know, we had like 5 days or something to like do it. And so you basically put your headphones in and had the cast album, and then recorded the video of you singing it. So it was just the acapella of you that you sent them.
Yeah.
And then they spliced it all together. But I know all of us were like, oh my God, it took me like 57 takes to get, because it's just like figuring out the background and all of that is.
Yeah. It's so, that cast is first of all, fantastic people, but it's a real range of, you've been in a lot of Broadway shows. There are some kids, it's their first show. I don't mean to call them kids, but I mean, they're like, sort of
Yeah.
like, shot out of the cannon. And I'm sure that everyone in the cast is sort of reacting to this strange long intermission in like different ways, right? I mean, everyone sort of like comes at it from their own perspective. And you've because you've had a long career at this point, how does it all feel to you? I mean, even just the fact that you said it's okay to just kind of put the character aside and like I'll dig back into it. And as a working actor, sometimes you're going to be doing something ahead of time, and it's always an interesting process. But are you seeing a range of reactions among people in the community?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's so different and so personal for each one of us, because every person's life, is unique to them. But I felt like I let myself be sad, like right away, like right when Broadway was like, don't come to work, it's over. I was like, wow, I definitely shed some tears. I spent a couple days like feeling really sad. And I think other people, that was more of a delayed reaction that I saw kind of happen yesterday. Like some of my castmates were, I was texting with them and they're like, I'm really sad today.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like a slow acceptance of like, this is happening.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm trying to make it feel kind of like the way that it felt after we did it at the ART. Then there was a little bit of like, are we coming in this season or next season? And, and then it ended up being a little bit longer than what we had at first hoped. But, here we are again. We're waiting.
Yeah. What are you actually doing? Like, are you digging into, besides laundry and that day-to-day stuff, how are you keeping yourself creatively alive and sane and healthy? And talk a little bit about how you do all that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying not to beat myself up about not necessarily being super creatively productive in this time. I think I will be, but right now I just still feel like I've been adjusting to like, whoa, I was on like such a freight train and an exciting one, and then like the emergency brake got pulled. So it's just taken me a second to like settle into that. But I love painting and watercolor, and I've always wanted to write a children's book. And so I've kind of been like pulling out the like sketchings of things like that I've done. And the same thing, like I just moved in with my fiance. And so we've been trying to figure out like different artwork for our apartment or things like that. Like maybe we need something here, and I'm sort of like, well, maybe I can make that. So just things like that we can do around the house. I've been baking and cooking a lot, which I feel like on a Broadway show schedule, I've been kind of lazy about. So that's been kind of nice. It's been a little bit of a creative outlet, a calorically creative outlet, but I have time to get back in shape.
You look fantastic. And you look fresh. You have makeup on. You look lovely. Some people.
I put myself together for you.
Some people.
Oh, and I tie-dyed this. That's another project I've been doing is tie-dye.
I love it. It's adorable.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the Jagged fans, they're like this show has some hardcore fans. And I'm sure that there's a lot of, especially like when things like that music video comes out, all the shows are trying to keep the engagement going, obviously, with the fan base during this weird time. But you must, social media, you must hear from the fans a lot too.
Yeah, which is nice. It definitely makes me feel really hopeful and excited about the return of it. I remember feeling that also like after Cambridge. It's the first time I've really done a show that had like a fan base.
Yeah.
And it's special. It's cool to feel like it's, you're telling a story that's really speaking to people. And, I love when they'll like comment with some sort of like inside thing because they've seen the show. It's like, feels like a bigger family than just the people that you see at work every day.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about Adam Schlesinger, who we lost to the coronavirus. And I know you got to work with them on Crybaby, which was such a crazy, crazy fun, just like, it was so John Waters, that show, that musical.
Yeah.
fantastic. And what can you just sort of share any memories of him, or like his talents, and sort of like the loss that he really that he means to the theater community.
Yeah, I mean, he was always very chill, very like I always felt like I felt sort of intimidated by him when we were doing Crybaby. I was like just young enough, and he was sort of rock and roll. I was like, "You're very cool." Um, and then we recorded the Crybaby cast album much later, like a couple
Right.
years ago, actually, and it was so good to reconnect with him then. And I'm really grateful now, especially that I have that memory of that time with him. I think his songwriting is so smart. His ability to like understand different time periods and genres and capture those, I think, was really special, and worked so well theatrically and cinematically. Um, and his collaborations with David Jaberbaum also are just like
Yeah.
so great. So
Yeah.
that was like very, very sad day.
Do you have any favorite moments or songs from Crybaby?
I mean, I don't know if this is the right thing to say right now, but I've been thinking so much about the song "I'm Infected," because it feels like those are the words that you hear all the time. And like the lyrics the DJ wrote are so clever, and also just like the kind of like doo-wop feel that Adam created to this song about saying like I'm infected, and the hook of it is that I'm infected with your love. But
Which of your past Broadway credits, which of those shows and those roles could you like probably drop into again with the least rehearsal? Like which one would be the easiest for you to just like jump back in?
oh, I mean, the truth is that I'm like terrible at that. Like I will have to rememorize my lines for Jagged Little Pill is like the honest answer. But probably Company. I feel like I don't know. There was something about those scenes and the music that they're still in there.
Yeah, that was the company production where you all played your own instruments. That was
Now that I could not drop into the instrument playing, but I'm just strictly talking about the scenes and the songs. Yeah.
And Barza. Well, with Barza. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
April. I love April.
Yes.
April's the best. Now she's
I know.
now she's a guy. Now
I
she's
know.
a new company. Yeah. So
Did you see that yet?
I saw it in London. I didn't get to see it on Broadway yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
I'm super
So many
excited.
things. I'm just like so excited to it's to me interesting when shows come back. Just this long sort of anticipation of seeing things, and
Yeah.
What show would you love to see? Like if you could just jump in and see like a Broadway show tonight. Like if Broadway came back, what show would you love to be in the audience of?
Oh, God, what a great question. I mean, I'm really dying to see Company, and I'm also really dying to see the West Side Story revival. I'm so curious about that too, because I have so many pals, and I love that show, so I'm like fascinated to.
Did you ever do that show?
No, I mean, it's not really a good show for me.
It could have been Graciela. I'm gonna slide in Caitlin Moynihan and her
slide her in.
Blurry right now, Caitlin.
Oh, really?
Well, it's the internet. It's the internet world. What are the people online saying?
Oh, yes. So we'll start with Jimmy Delfino wants to know, question for Elizabeth, what role would you play in Jagged Little Pill if you could play any other than Mary Jane?
Oh.
Great question. Probably Joe. I mean, that just seems like such a fun part to play, and sing those songs. Pretty good. That'd be a blast.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yes. Okay. What Jacqueline Smith says, what are you most excited for your first rehearsal / show back?
I love thinking of that moment. I am just so excited to like sing that overture with everybody. And I mean, obviously it'll be hopefully a huge hug fest that we'll be able to hug people by then. But I just can't wait to like feel that kinetic energy in the room. But I think like that first like downbeat of music will be like,
I know, it's the energy on Broadway is just going to be out of control. That
I think so.
probably for months after. You know what I mean? It's just sort of like it's going to be really interesting to see how people come back from this moment.
I agree. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Totally. And going after your answer to Paul's question, Michael J on YouTube wants to know, has Elizabeth played the saxophone since Company?
The answer is no.
Never. Like the minute that show closed, you just threw out the saxophone. Well, did you have to buy your instruments? I guess it's not like school band. You don't have to like buy your instruments. You didn't own the saxophone.
I didn't. And the other two I had actually played like beforehand, and so I have played since. But the saxophone was one where when we did the show out of town, we didn't play saxophones, and Sondheim was like, I miss the sort of Andrew's Sister trio vibe to that number, to You Can Drive a Person Crazy. And so that's when they added in the saxophone. So I really can only play that one song.
Well, it's a good song to know. If you're going to know one song, that's the one.
Yeah.
It's a good party trick. Just pull out a saxophone.
Yeah. Hey.
Camille on YouTube wants to know, if you could be quarantined with any one of your characters that you've played, who would you want to be quarantined with?
These questions, they're
I know, I love that. Probably Kira from Xanadu, because has magical powers. So I think that would be pretty fun.
I would choose. Nobody asked me, but I would choose of your character. What was her name? The party girl in $1 Million Quartet. She's Diane.
Oh, Diane with a Y.
I remember her name. I'm so impressed with myself.
I am too.
I love that show, but she's fun. She's fun.
Yeah, she is fun.
I'll out a song when I need her to. You know.
Absolutely. And she's brunette, which is like a fun, like a change of pace.
I feel like Kira might get on my nerves, honestly. I don't know. She'd be a lot.
The accent, you're right. You're right.
I love that. Going off of that, Daisy Townsend on YouTube wants to know, if there was an album you could turn into a musical, what would you do?
I'm sure people.
Oh man. No, well, I feel unprepared for that question. I'm like, oh God.
What's like an album that was huge for you, or like in your 20s or your teens? Like, do you think of anything that really was like major for you? You're into like classical music, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I don't know. I had weird musical taste, so that's why I feel like self-conscious with this. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna reveal my terrible taste. But I didn't discover Joni Mitchell until I was in my 20s. But like Joni Mitchell Blue, I don't know. I feel like it's sort of sacred, and I would be scared of it turning into a musical. But it's like obviously one of my favorite albums of all time.
You know, a lot of people said they were scared about Jagged Little Pill too. So, you know, the albums are sacred to people. I mean, it's important. So look into it.
Yeah. All right. So Jules on YouTube.
Fun fact, I'm sorry, River, the song River is in Almost Famous.
Oh, I love that.
The Almost Famous musical, they incorporated River. So so that song might be on Broadway soon.
Okay, great. I'm here for that.
Love it. Okay, so Jules H wants to know, how has it been creating MJ Healy from the beginning versus reviving a role? Like with the
awesome. My favorite thing is to create something just because it has like the maximum chance for creativity.
Yeah.
Although that can also be a little scary and daunting. But I think it's so rewarding because this creative team has also been so malleable and so open to collaboration, that ideas that, we brought to it, things we sort of learned in researching what might have been her life, allowed us to make changes to the script and the story and all of that. So I felt like it was really fun. Whereas like in a revival, the challenge is like, how do I work with what's here and make that be as new and interesting as possible? Which is also like a cool, but that feels more like a puzzle. Whereas the creating something new feels more like an explosion of creativity.
Although you never, at least on Broadway, you've never really had to like do a revival of like a part really associated with like one performer. You know what I mean? Like
True.
I mean, like there's certain
Yes.
things that it's like when you really think of one performer. Like if you had played Evita, we would have thought of Patti LuPone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like that's scary because it's like the comparison is unavoidable. Whereas like not a lot of people living today probably saw Betty Comden play Claire de Lune. So
Right.
it's sort of
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's a little more.
we don't know what this is. Do whatever you want. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but in like 20 years, there will be some actress about to play Mary Jane Healy, and she's going to find this interview, and she's going to be like, "Well, now I have to follow that one, Elizabeth Stanley." It's going to happen.
She'll be
Love
like, I have
it.
way better ideas. I know what to do with this character. I'll show everybody.
Okay, I think we have time for one last question. And Jennifer on Facebook wants to know if there's a story behind your Jagged Little Pill necklace and why it matches Celia's, question mark?
Oh, well, I have two. They're both gifts. This one is an actual pill that Alanis gave us for opening night in
Oh, I
Cambridge.
love that. Beautiful.
And I've been doing the show. I haven't always been wearing it. And the same thing. This one, says Jagged, and it's a gift from our producer Eva for opening night. But now, since like the show's not happening, I guess I've been wearing them as sort of like a good energy to like keep it with me a little bit.
Yeah, I like that you're wearing them. I like that you're wearing them. Yeah, I didn't even notice you were wearing them until you said it. Well, I'm gonna slide Beth in. Hi, Beth.
Hello.
Do you have any questions for Elizabeth Stanley?
No, I don't know. I mean, there's so many questions that people have been asking that I've been wondering, so it's all good.
I have to deal with this bright sunlight. This is a little.
It's very good.
I'm self-conscious about like the camera angles when I'm doing this. I don't know. Whatever.
Fun,
It's
it's
impossible.
drama.
Your camera angles look great.
You look fantastic. You're
Oh
like,
gosh, you guys! Everyone looks amazing.
what do you call that color green? What is that? Is that like a celery? I'm gonna call it celery.
Celery.
I need a celery wall. I'm gonna get
And like a brown chair. I don't know. I think it's all kind of strange, but you know
good.
what? We're making
Whatever
it
it is.
work.
It's working well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks
Stay
for having me.
healthy, stay sane, all that stuff, and we'll see you in person. Not social distancing soon enough, and we can't wait to see Jagged Little Pill back at the Broadhurst Theater. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Hey, Caitlin, why don't you take us out?
Thank you guys so much for tuning in today for our Live at 5 home edition here on Facebook and YouTube. You guys can follow us along where we get your podcast by searching for hashtag Live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Be sure to tune in tomorrow when we finish the week out with Jeremy Jordan.